how many cups of tea did you have since morning? Or how many cups of tea did you have yesterday? Well, don't we all love to have tea? Or aren't there several people who are like actually ardent tea lovers who just sort of smell their tea before having it, or who actually stand right in front of the vessel wherein that tea decoction is boiling? Wow, it just smells amazing. I mean, more than actually drinking tea, it is that aroma which is so very soothing. And with all the different flavors of tea available throughout the world, isn't it just wow to describe your tea in different sort of aromas? What are the different aromas which could actually you could associate with your tea, and how do you actually describe that very golden, that cup which just lies in front of you and you just about to sip it with all the love in your heart, with your heart full of love for it, and that very sip which is actually going to sort of drive away all your stress and just relax you and just make you so refreshed and charged up for your upcoming work. Well, what are these different aromas, and how do you actually, what are the different amazing words which you can use to describe the tea that you drink? Well, you all are once again most welcome to Tutorials Point. This super interesting and amazing video is dedicated to all the tea lovers across the world who just love to smell their tea and then have it. Wow, you could actually use these words to describe that very cup of tea which you had today and which you're just gonna have while watching this video. Well then, let's go ahead, sip your cup of tea and then enjoy these words, and then you can probably associate one of these words with the tea that you are drinking. Well, let's go ahead. Zesty. Well, what is zesty? So, appealingly piquant or lively. So, if your tea is just full of spices, and if it is, it's just charging you up, that is when you'll call it zesty. So, zest actually is an English word which means something that just, charges you up, or something that fills you with enthusiasm. So, if your tea is full of spices and you're just able to smell that aroma of spices right from the very cup of your tea, well, use this word, because this will precisely describe sort of the aroma of your tea or the flavor of your tea. Okay, spicy, so flavored with a fragrant with spice. So again, you could simply use spicy if you feel that sip of tea purely takes you in the world of spices and is primarily dominated by the flavor of spices. Well, then you could use this word. Don't confuse it with zesty, because zesty is more inclined towards feeling that enthusiasm, and spicy is pure core spicy flavor. So if you feel that your cup of tea right now is full of spices and the taste is predominantly that of spices, well, then this is the right word. Okay, vanilla, a sweet and creamy flavor. Well, there are, people love a variety of teas. Different people have different choices as far as their tea is concerned. Some people love to have more of a creamy texture in their tea, and such a sort of a texture, such a sort of a tea can actually be described as vanilla flavored tea, right? So if your tea is creamy and thick, well, then it is a vanilla flavored tea, and this is the right word for it. Sweet, well, yes, there are people who just love to have very sweet tea, and probably it is that combination of that sweetness with the tea that makes it worthwhile for them. So this is actually the right word for such people, or for the tea for the kind of tea that they have. So this is exactly the kind of flavor, or this is exactly the kind of word which you guys can use if you're one of those who just loves to have that that extremely sweet tea to fill your life with sweetness, well then this is the right word for you, and you can use this word to describe your amazing, lovely cup of tea. Okay, yeah, but yes, another important aspect as far as sweet tea is concerned is it is sweet more from the perspective of natural sweeteners instead of artificial sweeteners, right? So natural sweeteners are a very important part of that sugary tea, right? Or that sweet tea that you are referring to. So do not forget that. Okay, next one. Fruity, resembling or containing fruit with a natural flavoring. So well, definitely there are different flavors which we love to experiment with tea. Sometimes that fruity flavor is just so relaxing. It just calms your mind. It just sort of makes your mood so good. It just flavors your mood basically. So if you have that fruity flavor in your tea, well then this is the right word for the tea that you're going to have. Sour, so having an acid or tart like taste. So definitely some people love to have tea which is very low in sugar, which is very strong, and because it is very strong, because it has more of tea in it, tea leaves, flavor of tea leaves in it, hence it is slightly sour, slightly acidic, tart like taste, and such a tea is actually called as sour. Well, you might as well be one of those who loves this kind of tea. I am not, but yeah, if you are one of those, if this is the sort of tea which is being served to you, well then sour is the right word for such tea. Okay, citrusy. So again, coming to a variety of teas that we love to experiment with day in, day out, citrusy is yet another flavor of tea which actually sort of has, a flavor, a smell of lemons, limes or oranges, tangy and tart taste. So it is like sort of lemon tea is citrusy, because lemon tea is yet another variety of tea, and again that has its own benefits, that has its own aroma, that actually is sort of something which makes you feel really good the moment you drink it, right? So if that is the sort of tea that you love to have, well then citrusy is the right word. Creamy, yes. So again, coming back to those people who love a smooth and a creamy texture to their tea. So if you feel that your tea is actually having the rich taste or thick, smooth texture of cream or vanilla, if that is the sort of tea which you love to feast on, well then creamy is the right word. Earthy. What is earthy? Resembling or suggestive of earth or soil, a fresh and organic taste. Well, that those cups which are made of mud, those sort of cups are the ones which you would love to have your tea in, and they are made of clay, not mud actually, they're made of clay, those clay cups. And if you love to have your tea in those cups which are made of clay instead of glass or crockery or any other metal or material, well then if your cup is made of clay, and that is when your tea will actually imbibe that earthy smell, and it is actually amazing. It has a different taste altogether, a different variety altogether. So if you love to have that earthy flavor in your tea, well then use this word. Light, a subtle, airy, fresh smell. So if you're one of those who doesn't like a very strong flavored tea, you could have a light one. It definitely is relaxing. It definitely is sort of not dominated as much by any particular flavor, be it creamy, be it spicy, be it anything else, and such a sort of tea is called as light. Fresh, purified and clean smell, light and airy. So fresh tea, wow, that is the sort of feeling which you get, right? So the moment you keep your cup of tea right in front of your mouth and you smell the flavor of it, that is the sort of feeling which you'll get. Yes, if your tea is very fresh in its aroma, well then this is the right word. Bright, a lively, clean style that refreshes the palate. So again, maybe the way that it's been served, well, tea lovers are tea lovers. They could not just be sort of attracted to tea primarily, but the way that it is being served, or the environment wherein they are sitting and having their tea, or probably the weather outside, everything could act as a stimulus to enhance the taste of the tea that they are gonna have. So if you feel the place where you're sitting is amazing, refreshing, the cup, the saucer, in which the tea is being served to you is extremely clean, well organized, very nicely placed. So that is when this is the sort of feeling which you'll get after having that kind of a tea. Okay, clean indicates, as I already told you, it indicates purity of flavors and an absence of any off taste. So tea in its very original format is going to be called as clean. That is what it means, right? So if you feel tea in its very originality is something that just turns you on, well, then this is the right word to express your love for your tea, or to be more precise, to express the sort of tea that you're going to drink. Well, I'm sure all of these words are going to resonate with you if you are one sort of if you are the kind of person who just loves to experiment with a variety of teas. Well, then definitely any of these, at least most of these words are going to resonate with you, and you could use them to express the sort of tea that you are going to drink going forward. Well, I'm sure it's going to be very helpful for you, and if it is, do go through these words and do start using them. Well, I will see you again in the next video. Till that time, keep learning with Tutorials Point and Tutorix. Have a good day.